Welcome to the Hudson Valley Chapter's September meeting entitled Crafting Our Contribution, Redefining How We Give Back to the Profession. Housekeeping. Please use the chat for questions, comments, to participate in activities. This meeting is being recorded. The recording will be posted on PMI HVC's YouTube channel. Please ensure that you are muted so that we don't hear what's cooking for dinner. Greetings. My name is Jasmine T. Clark. I am your VP of Professional Development. For today's agenda, we'll have welcome announcements, we'll have a unity exercise, we'll have a group activity, and then we'll have the guest speakers, Crystal Richards and Dawn Mann. And then from there, we'll have a surprise, and then we'll have some closing remarks. For announcements, do you have strategies to increase HVC's social media presence? Would you like to facilitate a chapter meeting? Do you have a unique skill that HVC could benefit from? The Hudson Valley chapter is always looking for members to volunteer. Be the change that you want to see. Feel free to reach out to me, the VP of Development, and at the end of the presentation, I will make sure you have my email address. We also have some upcoming board member positions. Interested in 2025 leadership opportunities with the Hudson Valley chapter? Requirements: an active Hudson Valley chapter membership and a passion to give back. More information, if you're interested about the VP of Professional Development, you can reach out to me. If you're interested about the VP of Finance, you can reach out to Jennifer. And our contact information, again, will be provided after the meeting. You will receive a copy of this presentation. On behalf of the Hudson Valley's Event Planning Subcommittee, we have the upcoming second annual Family Social event on Saturday, September 28th at Dubois Farm in Highland, New York. Visit HVC's website to register. Save the date and tell the family, we outside! September is Self-Care Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, National Preparedness Month, and Hispanic Heritage Month. Welcome to our newest members of the Hudson Valley chapter, Amanda, Christian, and Lana. Welcome to the family. Congratulations to the Hudson Valley's newest project management professional, Michael. And congratulations to Nini for 5 years of membership. Thank you so much for your membership, Nini. You can be a member at any PMI chapter, but you chose the Hudson Valley. Thank you to Carmen, Clay, Emmanuel, James, John, Laurel Lynn, Lori, Marie, Mario, Michael, and Teresa. Thank you for your chapter dues. And now for our unity exercise. Please enter into the chat your favorite fall activity. Okay, so I see corn maze, I see hiking, seeing the leaf change and getting nature pictures. Tanya, you need to come to the Hudson Valley for that. No shade to Louisiana. We have haunted houses, walking, looking at leaves, wearing a jacket, carving pumpkins. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, we even have decorating your home. I love that. I love that. And if people could just put themselves on mute, that'd be great. Ooh, apple cider and pumpkin candles. That is always a treat. Thank you so much for that. And now, our group activity. Are you ready? Now, to get everyone moving and grooving, let's see how creative the project management community really is. So we have story time, the HVC way. In honor of Hispanic Heritage, National Preparedness, and Self-Care Awareness Month, we are crafting a story. Each group will be assigned 6 words that must be in your story. Each group will have 5 minutes to come up with their story. Hint, the group that uses all their words and tells a complete and coherent, that's the key word there, people, coherent story wins. After 5 minutes, we will rejoin a large group and the facilitator will tell you a group story. So in order to play, all you need is a recorder, someone who's going to jot down the story, and a facilitator, someone who's going to recite your story. So I would like you to take a picture of these two screens to use in your breakout rooms. So for example, group A will be room 1. Group B will be room 2, and so on. So please take a screenshot, a picture or a screenshot on the computer of this screen and also this screen. So
Can
I
you
will
show
go back
both
to
screens again? Thank you.
no problem, no problem. I'll go back to the first screen. So that's group 1 through 4. And then we also have the second screen, groups 5 and 6. I think I said 1 through 4. Yeah, 5 and 6. So now, if you just give me a second, I will prepare the room.
Are you putting us in the rooms too, Jasmine? I just need to know if I
Do
need
you
to
want
get
to go in the
prepared.
room?
No, Don's like, no, I'm good.
No problem. Don't worry.
Am I supposed to be in a room?
I'm a one-woman show, so I'm getting there.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to make sure because I switched from my phone to my desktop. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss
No
anything.
worries, no worries. I got you. I got
All right.
you.
Thank you.
No problem. Does anyone still need a room? I see. Let me see.
This is Amina. I don't have one yet.
I have you in room 1.
Maybe I'm in an older version of Teams, so maybe.
I'm not in a room either. This is Lana. I'm not in a room either.
Okay,
This
so
is
for some reason,
Mirka. I don't know which one I am.
you're in room 3.
Thank you.
Trace, you're in room 2. I don't know why this isn't working. Raina, I have you in room 4. And for some reason, Tanisha, Tanya, and Lana, I cannot put you in a room. So maybe you have to physically. Let me see.
Am I in a room, Jasmine? I don't.
Talking, I'm sorry.
It's Jen O'Keefe.
Jennifer, you're in the room too. What's going on?
Oh, I don't see. Maybe because we're in browsers, so it's not working.
Oh, room 4. You're in room 4.
Yeah, I'm in a browser also. How do I get to the room?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my question too. I
Same.
don't see anything that shows me that.
Zero, that too.
I think I'm gonna leave and come back and see maybe if that changes something.
Come back. And maybe plan B is just I know it's a lot of people in this same room, but maybe it's just plan B they work on it in here.
Let me see. So Maruka and Lana, are you able to click on room 6 and say join
No,
No,
I don't see it. Where you find it?
on the
I don't
side
see
of the
that either.
screen?
No, I don't see anything there. There's no way to join a room. I'm looking.
Yeah, if you're, are you on a browser? Not
I
in the,
joined. I joined through Microsoft. Like I logged into Microsoft and I just went into Teams and put in the meeting ID and passcode.
I use the app. You know, when you click it, they ask you if you want to stay in the browser or you want to be in the app. I clicked and I want to be in the app, but still I cannot see the rooms.
Me either.
It
Yeah,
looks
I'm
like,
in the
Jasmine, for
browser
the
also.
interest of time, you just want to leave them in the room and kind of, I don't mind listening in, hearing them talk through.
Same.
Okay. Did you all take pictures? Do you have your screenshots?
I did get a picture.
Okay.
I took a picture. Which one we gonna do then? Now that we are here.
I did not take a picture. I apologize. I joined late. So
How about
Jasmine, can you open up the screen again and share because there's no way for us to drop I took screenshots, but I can't see a way that I can drop the picture.
I'm totally cheating and going either group B or group F. Like in my head, those are the only ones that I can like figure out how to streamline something
we can
together.
do F. I'm good with F. You're a PM of a cross-country functional team, and the team cannot get along. Not like every day.
Yeah. So the only thing that I don't know what it means is I don't know what
why
Tatia's.
it kicked me out of Teams. I'm sorry, guys. That is so
No,
weird.
we're good, Jasmine. They're working on the project. Do what you need to do. They're doing their thing.
Okay,
Go for
awesome.
it, PMs.
Okay.
What is Taja's and Maduro's? That's the only thing I don't know. Like I want to.
You gotta look it up.
Okay. You know, I totally
they're
just
like
use
sweet.
ChatGPT,
You know,
but I was gonna try to be old school.
Okay, guys, which one we gonna do? What letter?
Group F.
F like Frank? Okay.
Yes.
Let me
F.
check.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay.
I think Tejadas are fried plantains.
Okay, guys, you're killing me.
I know
It's
this.
sweet plantains. It's sweet
Yeah.
plantains. You're killing me. You're killing me. It's just that Tejadas are one culture, and Maduros, I think, is Dominican or Puerto Rican. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I didn't want to put sweet plantains because I didn't want to give it away.
Okay. Okay. Tajada is as Jasmine said, is in like a Venezuela or Colombia that they call the sweet plantain fry. It's called tajada or maduros. Manis and pedis. That will be manicure and pedicure.
Manicures and pedicures. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Latin people love manicure and pedicure. I wonder what is the beauty salon?
No, it's self-care. It's self-care awareness month. Calm down.
Okay. Well, I heard something about the Hispanic. I'm like, Okay, disaster recovery plan, get ready, and family. Okay, you are PM of a cross-functional team, and the team cannot get along.
So are we supposed to troubleshoot
Okay.
ways to have them get along with this list?
Pues, I would like to see the first slide, the one when they say the rules. Can we see that in the screen? Thank you. Let me hold on. Okay.
I feel like using ChatGPT might be cheating on this exercise. But
Each group will be assigned set word that must be in the story. Each group will have 5 minutes to come up with a story. The group that use all the word, after 5 minutes, we will rejoin. Okay. Okay. Then, okay, the story have to use the 5 words.
We have to use,
And
is it
you are
familiar, get
PM,
ready, disaster recovery? We have to use all of those, correct?
Yes, all 6.
maybe maybe we could start by saying, like, since the team isn't getting along, we'd like to become
All right.
like familia, like a family. And the activity they decided to do was get mani pedis, and then after that have maduros. And we can try to figure out we can get the other words in there somehow.
I think that's a good plan. I think the first couple of ones you can streamline together and stuff and tell people that, like you said, they do need to act more like a family and just all get along and get ready.
So just to let you know, get ready is for disaster preparedness national. So it has to be in that context, and also disaster recovery plan. I did not say that, but everything that's in bold is basically disaster recovery, because I know a lot of that could be interchangeable. So get ready is technically making sure you have a plan. Sorry. And then we have 2 more minutes to make it even. Okay, I'm gonna close the rooms now.
Up.
Oh,
Hello?
Can you hear? I think we're in the big group again.
Yes, I'm so sorry that I had to snatch you.
Okay,
But
sorry.
time's up. Now it's time to, sorry about the technical difficulties. Now it's time to tell us your stories. So do we have someone from group A, room 1?
Admittedly, we hadn't even started the activity because we just all got to the group about 30 seconds ago. So I don't know what happened technically wise, but we were just going over the words. We hadn't started a story yet.
Okay, so we'll come back to you guys. Room 2?
I think the same thing happened for room 2. I was in a larger group, and then we just kind of ended up in a small group, so we didn't get to it either. It just switched us out.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did anyone get a chance to start their story?
I think I was with Megan and John. We ended up in the same room, but it was like we were just talking, and then we just ended up in that space. So
Okay,
Oh, my mic is open.
so do I have a brave soul that will, on the spot, come up with a story?
I can try one. This is Amina.
What group?
Okay.
What group will you be doing?
Oh, I was in the big group at first. I was
So
on the.
I'm saying which group are you gonna tackle on this?
Oh. I'm going to do Oh, I think it's not on here.
Okay, give me a
It
second.
was the one with oh yeah, it was group F. That was the one. Okay. So our
So
cross-functional
before you start, Abida, I'm sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
Get Ready and Disaster Recovery Plan are in terms of National Preparedness Day. So Get Ready should really mean about disaster recovery or disaster plan. So go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, got it. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Our cross-functional team isn't getting along, and so we decided to do an activity as a team that would help us become like a familia. We went to get mani-pedis and eat maduros and have a conversation about work-life balance. And then there was a natural disaster while we were getting mani-pedis, and we had to quickly work together as a team to get ready for the disaster and to create a disaster recovery plan as a team. And even though it was very stressful, because we were in an emergency situation, we were able to come together as a team because we balanced relaxation as a team and being prepared for an emergency. That's what I got.
That was a brave attempt, but you have to get the words exactly like get ready, not be prepared, I think you said.
Oh, got it.
But that was a great attempt. Thank you, Amina. And if we could take one more brave soul, and again, thank you for being flexible.
I will go, even though I kind of got kicked out of my group.
Sorry, Raina. Which group are you
I did too,
attempting?
girl.
Yeah. Well, we weren't in a group, and then we got thrown into a group later.
So which one do you want to tackle?
Oh, we had group F.
Okay.
Like, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Which I think somebody just did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't want to repeat that.
All right, so right now I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me A.
Okay, give me A. All right. So, I am a project manager at FEMA, and we have a project in Central America that one of our stakeholders is not very happy about. We were to make evacuation plans, but we lacked the innovation and had to come up with practice exercises in order to develop something. By the end of the day, I was so exhausted, I needed to take a bath with a glass of wine and a lavender bath bomb.
That was awesome, but exercise was not used in the correct context. Exercise is more for self-care. But that was a great.
But you didn't provide defining. You didn't define how the words needed to be used. And words have multiple meanings, former English teacher here. So I did use it in the correct manner.
Well, as project managers, part of our job is to talk about ambiguity and risk. So you should ask clarifying questions. However, I will give that to you because that was a great comeback. I love it.
I love it.
I love it. All right, so we actually have time for one more. So if we could get a brave soul to tackle C. And if not, I'm gonna have to volunteer someone.
Did you say, who did you say?
You. I don't know who's speaking.
This is Keith.
Pete, let's go. Let's hear it. Group C.
Oh, and which one am I choosing?
Group C, construction project is late and over budget.
Okay. Doggone it, we had to take on this whole agile thing using all this thing called the retrospective meetings. And it was right after I just had my massage. And I'm used to plain old-fashioned methodology, and give me my critical path so that I can have stress reduction in my job. I need to go get me some pisco soy so that I can be prepared.
All right, because of Raina, I'm not even going to tell you which context that was because I'm not going to get cursed out again, professionally speaking. But Pete, that was awesome. And thank you so much for everyone who participated. It definitely didn't go as planned, but it was the end result. I wanted to get people talking, people to kind of be interactive, and I know everyone was cursing out teams. So thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate it. Roslyn, you have a question? Roslyn, did you have a question or that was an accident?
That was an accident. Sorry, I was trying
Okay,
to
no
react.
worries, no worries. So now that I have everyone warmed up, I'm going to turn it over to Crystal and Dawn. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I'm just going to do just a quick share. That was painfully fun. Let you all go through that. But Don and I are definitely appreciative of everyone's time. Dawn, bless her heart, she's doing this in Hawaii. I'm doing this after 4 days of training. So I know your days are busy. So we totally appreciate you all being here. And I'm not going to read this quote. I'll let you read on your own. We're going to it's not a formal slideshow. We really want this to be interactive and kind of like you're having a fly on the wall moment between two really good friends that also respect each other as professionals, as mentors, and mentoring each other. Don't forget, you always can use some feedback. And I just finished up a class and I got feedback that I saw my students as my own mentors for the time together. So I'm going to kind of stop there a little bit and just kind of, I'm going to kick it to you, Don, because we're going to introduce each other. And I'm going to stop my share momentarily and I'll let you go for it, Don.
Thanks, Crystal. And thanks, Jasmine, for working through this and being such a wonderful hostess. Let's give Jasmine a round of applause and some love in the chat, please. She's working so hard to make this a great event for y'all. Yeah, hi from Maui, where I'm visiting my family. I can only see them about twice a year, and I committed to this a while ago. And you know how we do it in the project management circles. When we make a commitment, we make it happen, right? So that's what I'm doing here in Maui. And I just want to share that Crystal is just one of my absolute favorite people in what I like to call Project Land. We met many years ago now and have had a lot of fun learning from each other and sharing best practices and encouraging each other when the going gets tough in Project Land. And if you don't know Crystal, I just want you to understand a little bit about who you get to have an evening with. She is not your ordinary project management trainer. She's the principal and owner of MindSpark, and she's on a mission to turbocharge teams and equip them with the skills they need to conquer any project challenge. She helps teams elevate their skills in project management, communications, and leadership. And she's not just here to teach you technicalities, she wants to unleash your inner project management superhero. Yeah. And so Crystal always brings the fun, which is why I will always say yes to doing an event with Crystal. She's been at this for a long time. She's trained over 2,000 business professionals and helped a lot of people get their certifications as well. I always send people to her to help them get their certs because they always have great feedback on what a wonderful trainer she is, because she cares. She really cares. And that's what I find, about Crystal just in general. She just has a big heart. So I suspect that you will see that in her today. So thanks for having us, everybody. We're excited to be here. Crystal, back to you.
Thanks, Dawn. And my introduction about Dawn is that she's the founder of PMO Training LLC. She's an international speaker, just had, what was it? Was it Dubai, Saudi Arabia? I'm super jealous. Yelly over here. And she's also like, she's a nerd. And I say that with love. This lady is like a mathematician, a coder. She's created an app. One of her inventions is what's called the Project Flow Process Learning System, which takes the concepts of what a lot of us learned from the 6th edition and really makes sense of it. And I actually went through her class and I was like, this is solid. As a trainer, I'm like, this is solid. And with that, I mean, Dawn has years of experience working with C-level leaders, business owners in their growth mode, has worked with project management or project management office leaders and project managers at all levels. And she's also worked with Year Up. A lot of people may be familiar with that for internships at major corporations that were featured in Morningstar, Yahoo Finance, and more. Dawn left her project management job to dedicate her time into teaching others, being a trainer, again, a speaker, and now a recent author. So I'm so excited for her. And she's also an instructor on Udemy. She has a course there called Smart Tips, Project Management, and Agile, so that you can, it was like 30 minutes or so, those small bites. What we really love is being busy professionals. Dawn has built houses. Dawn has built houses in Cambodia with Habitat for Humanity. She has taken on leadership roles with the American Lung Association of Philadelphia, and she sponsors a girls' flag football team. It was so cute. She sent us the picture with their little tigers on it. So this is a team in Florida. And when she's not in Project Land, as you know, she is right now in Hawaii. So she does like to spend time with her family in Hawaii or in Pennsylvania, and her home is in the Florida Keys. So I'm excited to have my friend, my own mentor. We're in a mastermind group together, just sharing successes, helping each other through some of our challenges, and really pushing each other as project managers. Because I think for a lot of us, it can be lonely. You might be the only one in the organization or the only one at your client site that really gets it. And you're like, why aren't they listening to me? So we have some tips for you all and kind of our perspective of kind of redefining and thinking about what mentorship looks like. So, kind of with our guided conversation here, Don, I'm going to ask you your question. I'm going to ask the question of you about your personal story and your path to mentoring. And what are some of the ways that you have been mentored? And what are some of the things that you're doing now to offer mentorship? Because I think a lot of people think of mentoring is like meeting in a virtual room or meeting in person over coffee. And you and I know that there are so many other ways that you can mentor without necessarily being that formal structure. So go for it.
Thanks, Crystal. Yeah. Yeah, I've had a long journey with mentorship. In fact, it started in high school when I was asked to mentor a younger person in my high school, and then it happened again in college. And so somebody, kept seeing something in me that I was being asked to mentor people, and it continues to happen when people, and it may happen to you when people say, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" And, as a business owner, Crystal knows this really well, when people ask to pick your brain, it's like, well, I've spent over 25 years in this business. My brain is now somehow really valuable. so, where I can spend it and the energy I have, I only have so much energy and time, right? Like all of us. And so we've had to get creative with it. But in asking about the journey, I have to say, she said, I'm a nerd. I am a nerd. I grew up in the tech space. If anybody else started their tech career in the year 2000, give me a shout out on the chat. So I started in a tech company in 1997. I was the only woman who was part of the starting class of that cohort. They were teaching us to code COBOL, JCL, CICS. And I found that there were very few women in tech, especially in the late 90s when I started to tackle the year 2000 problem. And that continued for a long time. And so I got actually really, really lucky. There were several men who saw something in me and who had like retired already from IBM, and this was their second career, and they knew they were, you know, on the downside of their careers. And they saw something in me and they said, I'm going to teach you everything I can. And so I used to joke that they would throw me in the deep end of the pool with no swimmies, but I felt like they were standing on the side of the pool with the lifesaver ring ready to throw it in if I needed it. And I feel so grateful to these men that really took me under their wings. And you know, there was a common theme with all of them. There were 4 of them. They all had daughters. And each one of them at a different time said to me, I am going to treat you like I hope someone will treat my daughter at work. I'm going to teach you everything I can. And I just was, I mean, I can't tell you, yeah, I saw your reaction, Crystal. I mean, I just can't tell you how grateful I am to these men. And so you'll even in my book, one of them is named. I sent him the last chapter. There's a story about him in the last chapter about when he took me go-kart racing, and I sent it to him and I said, "Can I use your name?" And he goes, I don't really remember this quite like this, but that's cool that you want to share this story. And yeah, no problem. You can use my name. And so, you know, anytime that you can, I think, share with somebody that's even just one step behind you, you know, like I was years and years behind these guys in my career. I was just starting, they were ending their careers. But anytime you're even just one step ahead, you know, you had one more project than they do under their belts. And if you can help them, you know, it may make a huge difference to them. And as Crystal just shared with me, an article from the Harvard Business Review about a study that was done with with the police in the UK. The mentors also get a lot out of it. And I've been a mentor now formally in the Fortune 500. We had a very formal program with the women's group there, and it was really cool. And I got to mentor a woman who was older than me, but who didn't have a lot of project experience, right? So you just never know, you know, how these matchups are. And I got a lot of satisfaction out of, you know, helping her navigate Project Land and help her, you know, navigate her career. How about you, Crystal?
Yeah, Don, and I want to ask you this question before I get into my story. Have you had the title, the formal title of project manager in your career, or has it been something different?
No, I did.
Okay.
It didn't start that way, but then yes, later I did. Because in my consulting company, they said you have to get your PMP because I was so young. You know, that then when I would show up at a client site, the client would see me as, you know, a more legitimate force.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I have to say, hearing your story, it sounds like, okay, you found your way. You were accidental project manager, what I would say for a lot of folks, probably prior to, 2020, everyone was kind of an accidental project manager. I would have to say, over the 20 years I've been a project manager, not once did I have the title project manager. And so that is encouragement that I want to give some people, that I feel like there's a fixation for people to have that title. And we are doing project management, and it just takes, you showing up and showing out, quite honestly. And I think that's kind of my story a little bit, is that I wanted to do a good job. My career started out as consulting. So I was always a go-getter. And I remember even in grad school, we just celebrated our 20-year reunion from grad school. And I think Megan's on the call. She was my intern for it. But even back in grad school, we had our capstone exam to take. And we needed to put together all the content. And I don't know what it was about me, but I just said, I'll do it. And I set up a website. I got everything together. People were like, this is great. Fast forward 20 years, when I talked to a couple of my classmates, and we were like, it's been 20 years, we should get together. And it's like, yeah, let's get around, a fire pit and hot dogs. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. We're going to do this right. I'll project manage this. And then of course I was like, I don't have time to project manage this. So that's where the internship came about. Now I'll share about that a little bit later on. But I would say my mentorship was a little bit choppy because of the fact that even from grade school, I moved around a lot. I'm an Army brat. So I went to 5 high school in 4 years, 4 years. And, just teachers would like me, they would support me, and then it was time to move again, and that was unusual for even military brats. But even by the time I got to my career, I was at that generation, if you will, where I'm like, I've been here for 18 months, I'm ready to leave, right? When job hopping was a bad thing. So I never stayed long enough for someone to really in the organization to give me the mentorship that sometimes I craved. But I would find that outside of the organizations. So I have noticed that people know to reach out outside of your organizations. And I would say that I, in my career, I have started to see the value. I want to be the mentor that wasn't available to me. And that's where kind of I've been able to provide, with time allowing, to provide the mentorship. I will say that mentorship is great for me versus coaching, because a mentor is going to talk about, oftentimes I see the distinction is that they're kind of talking about their experiences, how they navigated through some challenges. A coach is a listener. I talk too much. I talk way too much to be a coach. So I will share and then try to remember to pause. But I'm also much, much better at being a spot coacher than like a long-term coach. So if you grab me for an hour, I will pour my heart. You have my undivided attention. But for long term, I have to say that's not my strength. And that's something that I'm okay with. But there are other ways that I mentor, which is through my training. And I know that you're going to get into the ways that you mentor, and I'll just kind of move us into that direction. Is that that's where I get to provide those, kind of stories and things, war stories that I can share. And when you're in my training experience, hopefully I've captivated you to understand, what's helped me, what did I have to navigate through. And I most especially, as I see people mention it in the chat, I love doing that through an event that I host called Indoor Recess. So I'll pause there, and Don, love to hear how you have kind of taken what you have gained from folks mentoring you and what you're doing today.
Yeah, I have like you, I have several different ways that I engage with people to try to, help them. One is the one-on-one because I do enjoy the coaching. And I find, when people really, really want to invest in themselves, and I can only take a couple, because time is hard. I can only take a couple people a month, but when I do, I get so much satisfaction out of that one-on-one time. And but there's only so much time. So then you have to create the many to one like you did with Indoor Recess. And so, yeah, I do have a course. It's practical project management course. It's a certificate course. And I've run it many times now. And I find it to be so fun because it is practical. And yes, I started my career as an accidental project manager too. So any of you guys that are out there with the accidental project manager, that's how you started, let us know, because we're definitely with you there. The I feel like, so many people are still being asked to add projects to their day jobs and they just don't know how to do it. So that's kind of where I created that practical, project management course. And then thanks to you, Crystal, yes, I got to do the Udemy course, which, is in the Smart Tips format, which is only 5 minutes per ish per video, and then there are 39 videos, and I've gotten messages from people who are mentors who are using the Udemy course to like assign, a 5-minute video to their mentees, or group mentees in their workplaces, and then say, hey, we're going to talk about it, right? So like risk, like there's 6 different ways to respond to risk, and that's in my 5-minute video, and then they have to watch and they have to talk about, well, what does that mean for their projects and stuff. So people are leveraging that Udemy course to mentor people. And I find too, like you said, going outside the workplace for the mentoring you need. I have had to do that at different times too, when I didn't have bosses that were as awesome as some of the ones, that I did get, a few of the ones that I did get. I had to go outside. So I would, talk to people, try to find it. And this was pre, interweb things. And so like books, right? And that was one way that, I love books. So books was definitely another way that I went for it. And now thankfully I can offer people, that if you're going to pick my brain about the players in Project Land, just go get the book, right?
Absolutely. So I'm getting ready to put in the chat for the group, but I'm going to have you and I answer the question first. So outside of like connecting with the person, what are your top 2 or 3 ways that you get mentorship? So you mentioned like books, right? What are some other ways that you get mentorship that are unique that people may not realize? Yeah, that's a good way to get mentorship.
Yeah, you mentioned it before that, we're in a mastermind together, and sometimes, I just got to vent, like I'm just having a hard time, and I'll send something like, okay, this is what's up, and then people will give their perspectives, and it just can be so helpful to have sort of some, a group of people that are so positive and kind of on a similar journey, and that can cheer you on and give you some advice now and then. So I think mastermind groups are great for that.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Books, I think your book is a perfect pocket little mentor. It was bringing in stuff, ahas that I was like, yes, like either I was like, I say this too, this is on point. Or just like, reaffirming some of the challenges that I think all of us project managers go through. I think with social media, like prior to, when we started, there wasn't the social media. Oh God, the social media, I sound like my parents, but there wasn't the Facebook where you could find people. It was, now you can. I low key stalk people who are saying wonderful things or giving me being serving as a source of inspiration, and just to encourage people that they can be mentors to you as well. And then YouTube University, right? Those people are mentors all the time. If you trust what they say, it seems to be really solid. I'm not going to like call him out because he's my competitor, but there are people that love this guy who teaches project management. He encourages them to wear blue shirts for their exams, and he gets them ready. Like he is their mentor for that time. And I think it's wonderful. So I definitely want to encourage folks that don't feel like mentorship has to be this one box fits all. And that's also for those of you who aspire to be mentors. Let me tell you right now, you're already a mentor, because, and my friend Galen Low out of the digital PM group, the digital project management group, he just posted today, was so appropriate and on time, about how his father was his mentor, and his father didn't even know it because he was watching him. And people are watching you in your organizations, in your civic organization, and they're just seeing the things that you do and don't do so well. And hopefully, just from our own self-awareness, we're course correcting on things where we misstep, and we misstep all the time. We're human, and that's definitely what happens. Peer-to-peer groups, absolutely. Go for it,
Yeah.
Don.
Well, I love what you said there, and I want to. What you said is exactly what Raina is also saying about observing someone that that I think has it together and try to emulate that. I've done that too, Raina, because there were people that were definitely like, I don't want to do that, and I made note of those too. And then there were the folks where I thought, oh, I really like their style. I really like how they did that, and I took notes on that as well. So I love that. And Crystal, you're so right. In fact, in my practical project management class, I like go on this rant about how if you are a project manager, you are a leader and people are watching you. And so, you need to take that to heart, because some people are not, some people, especially if you work in a cutthroat environment, they're going to be looking for you to misstep. And so, you really need to try to every day be the best self that you can be and show up, in the best way you can be, which is great, because then, you start to step up and into that. Um, too. So I'm glad I just wanted to uplift what Raina was saying, because it was exactly on point with what you were sharing too, Crystal.
Yeah, and something I just want to kind of nudge people, please write your questions in the chat. This is meant to be the interactive. You get us for the hour or so to get the mentorship that you might be looking for. Like, hey, Don, how did you survive in a male dominated situation? Crystal, how did you get into? We're both business owners. How did you both find each other? And we didn't share that story. COVID, right? Like and we have never met each other until October 19th. But I mean, I'm probably going to hug her for like 10 minutes because we have not met in person. And just seeing some of the folks that I know, and then Lana, we've been connected, and I'm like, oh, I get to see her virtually. So that matters. And, doing the whole virtual hugs and all those things. It's really been exciting, but it was we were talking about that, Dawn, in the podcast recording, how we met online, and just know that the authentic relationships can happen virtually. I think it's still value in meeting people in person. Met Ruth Pierce not too long ago in person, and she was spending time poking me. I'm not going to be your friend anymore. You keep doing that. Have you met Ruth yet?
I have not yet in person.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm dying to
have to
meet
make
you in
that happen.
person in October in the DC area. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited.
I know.
So let's see. I'm just seeing if there were any questions.
There's a good one from Keith, Crystal. Yeah, in a remote world, what are the differences in the mentor experience? That's a great one.
Yeah, I think we should answer it. And then I also would love to hear other folks answer what has been their own experience.
Yeah,
Do
go ahead and
you want to
chat
start
and
first? You want me-
sure, yeah, folks, go ahead and chat and share your thoughts with Keith as well. You may have some valuable thoughts for him. Keith, thanks for your question. Um, I think, what's really cool is like, so I've been asked to be a coach for some folks who absolutely do not live near me in the Florida Keys, right? So, I'm coaching people in the Midwest and, in other countries and so forth. And that would not be available if we, were kind of stuck geographically with our areas. So I just feel like, the world is our oyster now, with the remote world, as you say, and it's great, right? Like, so, when I just spoke for PMI Lebanon, the Lebanon chapter, because I was in Saudi Arabia, and the guy from PMI Lebanon came to my talk, loved it, invited me over. So I was able to dial in from Florida and serve the people that were dialing in from Dubai and, everything. And today, even here, I'm dialing in from Maui, because we had set this up a long time ago, and, we were able to make it happen. So I just feel so grateful that we have this technology that allows us to come together from our living rooms, wherever we may be.
Yeah, I would say so. The biggest advantage of when we were doing the in-person physical mentorship is that there's no denying, and I think we've experienced it as project managers, there is a difference when you're managing projects in person versus virtually. You have to put in a lot more effort. I would say that effort is kind of similar, but it's almost, I almost say it's almost reverse, because you can hop on a call and start the conversation. Meeting up at a coffee shop, putting on a suit, right? Going, that might be a little bit more effort. And it's been so long, I've kind of forgot what it's like to meet up with, a mentorship in person, just because we've been in this remote environment for 20 years now. I'm being funny. But it does feel like it. And admittedly, I'm still a little bit socially awkward. I'm like, are we, I don't know. It's still, so
Oh, well, don't worry, Crystal. We're going to hug.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I think it's like with even with what we experience with our remote project management needs, you just have to be very intentional. Send the reminders to each other. Because we're just so inundated now with emails. And I think it was more even kill because you didn't have to worry about sending the endless emails because you just could catch someone in the hallway. But because everyone's remote, it's emails. And just because you put it on their calendar, they may forget. And you'll find that doing that reminder of, hey, I look forward to the conversation, they may be more in the mindset to be ready for the conversation versus kind of bailing on you. I also find that is a little bit more heavy now with the remote, is that people might need to reschedule versus if it was in person, they were honoring that much more, but it's just kind of a different environment now. So that's just kind of how I feel it with things. I want to also kind of toss out there and get your perspective, Dawn. I think with the kind of spike in need and interest in project management, there's been a much more noticeable request for mentors. I don't know about you. I get probably an ask, not quite daily, but more so than I have before. And maybe because I do put myself out there a lot more. I think, and this is a tip that I've learned from Tarika Wheeler, who is phenomenal. And one of the things that she has said, and this was at my my event that I'll talk about later, is if you're going to make the ask, help that person out to be able to help you. So when you say, I need a mentor, can you be my mentor? That might be, and especially if you don't already have a previous relationship, they may struggle with being responsive. And it's not that they're dissing you, it's just there's so much going on in the world and in people's lives that it's hard for them to say if they can be that mentor to you. And so the advice that Tarika said was, and this is something that I now say to people, be specific about your ask. Hey, I want to own a business too, and I'd like to hear your story. Can you mentor me for 6 months or something like? Just give them something, even if it's you give them like, can you mentor me for 3 months? Don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm only going to get 3 months, because if the relationship is working right, they're going to probably say, do you want to 3 months more? But when people come to me and say, can you be my mentor? I don't know if I'm the right person, because you haven't given me enough information. If you want someone to mentor you to go in tech, I don't have any experience with tech. I would say, Dr. Dawn. I'm just kidding, but I would. But I would love to hear from you, Dawn, if you think that's sage advice, or you can certainly be counter to that and say, no, just say, I need a mentor.
Yeah, I like the specificity that you're suggesting, and in fact, Rena, has a question that I think, hopefully she's getting some of it answered by what you were just saying, which I do agree with, about how to go seek a mentor. So, especially if you're not 100% in the PM world, I feel like when I've been asked to be a mentor, in the past, the fear is always about, and you said it before, Crystal, not doing a good job. Like you and me, we want to do a good job. I suspect everybody on this call is the kind of person that wants to do a good job. So if you're being asked to be a mentor and you're like, I got a lot going on right now, I'm not sure how much time that will take, that can be the first stop of you not getting that person to mentor you. First of all, I think the ask needs to be very intentional on why do you want that person to be a mentor to you, right? What is it about them and what they've been through that you respect, that you would want to spend time with them and, respect their valuable time and, what would you want to get from that relationship? So if you really think about who do you want to mentor you and why, then when you go to them and say, look, I am seeking a mentor who is like this. I see that in you. And so that you are letting them know the level of respect that you have for them and the reason that you're asking for their, basically their help, right, to mentor you. And the time commitment that Crystal mentions is real. So like if you said, look, I'm just hoping for, 1 hour a month virtually, for a couple of months to just help me through what's going on, over the next couple of months or where I'm trying to get to or whatever. If somebody says, 1 hour a month for the next 3 months, that's a whole lot different than just, will you mentor me? It's a lot easier to say, make it easier for them to say yes.
And also, make it easier for them to say, hey, I'm not the one. But because you were so specific, they're like, I know somebody who would be great and I'll do the introduction. So it's not always on. That's not guaranteed, but they may be, if this is a person who is, has the time and you've given them the work, the notes, to be able to just cut and paste and massage it and send it to their connection, it makes life easier. And because it came from them, that person might be inclined to say, hey, I don't have time for mentorship, but I can carve out an hour. And sometimes that's good enough. So I want to encourage everybody around that. And my LinkedIn is an open book. I assume Don's is. Like, if there are people in our LinkedIn communities that you're like, oh, Crystal's connected with them too, you can certainly reach out to me. I would probably, if you're not specific, I probably would say, well, what do you want them to mentor for? Because I'm also leveraging my social capital and my relationship with them, that I don't want to just send somebody and it's not a good fit. But let me know, hey, Crystal, I'm interested in all these agile certifications. And I noticed that you are interested, that you're connected with this person who's also an agile coach. And I want to learn from them. Would you be able to connect me? You gave me the notes I need to make that easy connection. So that is something that I definitely want to encourage you. And Raina, I hope we answered your question. If you can give us a thumbs up around that. If there's something more, definitely let us know. And be careful about asking for 100% PM work.
Yeah, amen to that.
You are going to be in it. What's variety?
It's funny. I'm going to do a quick introduction. I told my husband that. I was like, yeah, babe, I could probably get like a PM job making more. I said, but you know what? I don't want to do PM work. I want to do Scrum work with PM pay. I'm just saying.
And I just love what somebody just put out into here, and it might have been, I forget who it was, but it was about like, put it out into the universe, right? Like, just state it, claim it, right? And I'm a big believer in that too. I mean, that a lot has come my way because I started to get specific, about what I want, what I'm looking for, and who I'd like to connect with. So that I love that. I love that too.
Yes.
There was another question too, Crystal, that is really interesting, kind of way up in the chat now. What do you think about that PMI is thinking and requesting that each member belong only to the chapter closest to them? This is probably going to affect the virtual remotely, mentorship, kind of some thinking there. Do you have any thoughts on on the local chapter. Like, what is local chapter anymore? And why would we
That's
do
new to
that?
me. Yeah, and I don't know if Jasmine, you have some insight on this being a board member, but uh, I will say a upside, for all the sadness that COVID-19 brought. I'm a member of like 5 chapters: DC chapter, Baltimore chapter, Central Ohio chapter, don't ask, the PMI UK chapter, and I think one other one. And because of the flexibility of things like this, these webinars, it's been phenomenal. I've got to be in a call with the Baton Rouge with Tanya. I mean, I think they would be, I think that's not unofficially saying it. I think they might want to rethink that. Ooh, I'm learning my diplomacy here. They might want to rethink that, because people are missing out on the opportunity, because you don't know if that person is possibly thinking about moving to the UK and they're making that connection. So why not let them help out the chapters? Because the chapters, they need the income. I'm going to be real about that. They need the income, and
Absolutely.
you can be members. So I don't know, Jasmine, is that something that you've heard? Scrolling back down to the chat.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, I don't particularly like it because, like you said, you are a member of several chapters, so you could add value to many chapters. Now being forced to kind of go to your home chapter, it's like, isn't that kind of against like the money? Because you pay in dues, so you're generating a revenue. So to me, it's kind of counterproductive. That's what I was looking for, counterproductive. Because
Yeah.
we're a small chapter, which is basically in between Westchester and upstate Albany. So most people work in New York City and kind of live up here, or work in Albany and live down here. So it might help us because we're a small chapter, but also too, like if someone from Atlanta or Baton Rouge wanted to join us, that's going to hinder that. So I think we should protest, hold back our
Yes.
votes, although they take it
Attica.
automatically.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny about that too is, like, I still am connected to Philadelphia because I'm still a member of the board for the American Lung Association. So, by the way, if anybody's into golf and you want to golf with me in October for our American Lung Association golf event, let me know. It doesn't interfere with indoor recess, don't worry. But I joined the South Florida chapter, and it is nowhere near me. I drove 3 hours up to Miami to meet my people for happy hour, because I was like, I am dying down here near Key West, where, there's like, my people are not there, right? My people are up around Miami. So I drove 3 hours to have happy hour and drove 3 hours home. And I was so grateful to meet people in person. So, when you can be part of your local chapter and get engaged and meet your people, that can be really satisfying. And it really was. I built some nice relationships with folks. I got to speak, at the South Florida chapter, run my game to a sold out ballroom of people. I mean, it was a lot of fun. So, so I'd encourage you to definitely, get involved and try to show up in person, even though it is extra effort. I mean, some of us like maybe forgot how long it takes to put makeup on, me, stuff like that. But it can be worth it, for sure. I find in person, you still get into different kinds of conversations than you might when you're virtual. So, and make different levels of relationships with people when you can have somebody said glass of wine earlier, when you can share some food and beverages with folks. It's different. It's just still different. We're still human. And that's, a very ancient way for us to connect with each other is over sustenance.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tanya, I think I saw your hand up, so I wasn't sure if it was a carryover.
Yeah. Well, some of it, it's ponged from when I originally put it up, but it's like just even talking about, the PMI's move on limiting the chapters or trying to push that, which I haven't been as closely connected to this year with this past president, but I've heard it, and I still think, like, I'm still so, as crazy as COVID was, it is the silver linings. If we hadn't had what we had, so many of us would not be connected virtually now, would have never met, would have never seen each other on LinkedIn, would have never pushed ourselves beyond the boundaries. And I remember you being in our Baton Rouge chapter meetings. I remember Jasmine being there. I think you and I first met maybe through Ashaki, and I know Lori talks about you all the time. And I remember meeting Dawn for the first time because she was on guest with Oliver Yarborough talking on a podcast when he was doing that. So it's like half of these people I wouldn't have met if it hadn't been virtual. But that being said, too, I love having people from other places still join the chapter virtually and come in person and just say, y'all are so warm. We get a lot from you because a lot of times chapters, it's every couple of years with board leadership, things change, numbers fluctuate, the tides turn. So I love that we're still able to do virtual and that there's still guests that are allowed in these. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Jasmine too for getting y'all both together on this because this has been amazing. So
Oh, great, great. Thank you so much for that
you're
share,
welcome.
Tanya. And I mean, I'm serious. I will happily put myself out there to PMI and be like, that's just like, we all talked about it. I mean, or at least maybe not put myself out there. How about share the video?
Yeah,
But
that's
honestly,
fine.
we're all saying the same thing, right? Like that's not like, that is something they might want to rethink, because exactly as you said, I've built my network with being able to collaborate with other chapters, meet other folks, and
Yeah.
then do the next step where it's not awkward anymore to be like, hey, do you want to get on a Zoom? It's like, yeah, I remember you at that meeting. Let's get on Zoom. And I think, I don't know the numbers, but a lot of people who are introverted, I mean, working remotely, and I did see research about that, has allowed more working parents, women, minorities, people with disabilities to be able to be gainfully employed, when before it's this requirement, caregivers to, there was a requirement to be in the office, and we have shown that we can still get work done.
Right.
And we know there's still antiquated thinking, and it's like, come on, we've just shown. I just taught 30 some people in a classroom, and they said, you made us feel like we were in the room together. And if you put in the same intentionality that we do in person, that we can, and it's nice for me, because believe it or not, I don't know if you're the same, Dawn, I am an introvert. People can't believe that. When it's break time, I'm like, okay, like I need a breather. But if I'm in person, it is all day, and they come and ask me questions, and I'm still on. And I kid you not, the last person that leaves my boot camp class, I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So working remotely has been great for my own energizing way. So Don, I want to lend it over to you, and I see a hand up.
Yeah, it's so funny because I just got this question through LinkedIn. Somebody I didn't know said, "Hey, I saw a talk you did, and I just want to thank you for it. It was really helpful. I'm going to get your book. It's going to help me, and blah blah blah." And then he said, "I have to give a talk. What pro tips do you have for me? I'm an introvert." So give us a little shout out if anybody else is an introvert. So my I had Myers-Briggs done, right? And they told me a long time ago now, in the introvert extrovert spectrum, I'm 60% extrovert, 40% introvert. So I said to him, I said, look, I told him that. And I said, when you give a talk or when you're going to be in person with people, for any of you, if you have to go into the office a couple days a week or whatever, be, and it's self-care month, right? Like be intentional about your prep time that you need and your recovery and your transition time. And I too have to be very intentional, even though I'm 60-40, that 40%, I get really energized by things like this and seeing you. And, so thank you to you brave souls that have your cameras on. I see you.
Yes.
It helps us, to serve you better by seeing you. So I feel like we really need to, know ourselves. So know thyself. I put it in the chat earlier. That's the biggest lesson of all, isn't it? And then manage accordingly. And so if you do, if you have a big meeting, if you have, some really tough stuff happening at work, if you need to, block off some time, whether you're virtual or not virtual, to make sure that you can do those transitions, because in PM, and even just a PM job, all day long you're going back and forth, like, oh, I got to talk to an executive, oh, I got to talk to the team, oh, I got to solve a problem, oh, I got to think ahead, oh, I got to do my status report. I mean, like, boop, 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 all day. And it's hard to find those moments to breathe unless you intentionally build them in, because people will take your time and your energy, right? Unless you protect it. So the introverts, I love you. I feel you. I worked in tech, right, for so many years, over 20 years, and I had a lot of introvert, friends and colleagues that really taught me about protecting their energy, and making sure that they could recharge. And as I've gotten older and I've done more and more speaking and in big groups, even a stadium once, like it's wild what happens to your energy level.
Well, I want to make sure that we give Jasmine enough time to talk about the prize and all this other stuff. So I'm sharing a graphic of your book, which is your latest way of mentoring folks. And I wasn't kidding, folks. It is a nice pocket mentor. And before you go out and buy it, we want to kind of give you some context around it. But this is where I'm not going to give the context yet. What I would love to hear from you, Dawn, is your 60-second, why should people read this book and how it is your latest passion project around mentoring others.
Thanks, Crystal. Yeah, it really was a labor of love, this project, putting this book out. This is about the people. So this is really focused on the people side of project management. A lot of people talk about the process and the tools, but a lot of people have a hard time talking about the people. And so I created, Crystal and I both have a passion for making learning about project management fun. And so I have animal avatars. These are just 4 of them, but there are 11 creatures that help depict some of the creatures that you may find in Project Land. And so that we can talk about how people behave under stress, right? How people behave as a team, how you select a team, bring a team together. There's a whole chapter on the project manager role. So those of you who are not necessarily 100% project managers yet, or are seeking the next level of becoming a great project manager, there's a whole chapter dedicated to the project manager role. And what I find, and I've found for a long time, is it's really about the people. The people will make or break your project. Creating the right team from the beginning, getting them set up and getting them kicked off. That's what this book will help you with. And I've been told, and even Amazon's AI now, I don't know, Crystal, if you saw this, but at the top of the page, it's now summarized the reviews, the AI, and it says it's fun, it's easy to read, and people get a lot of value out of it. And it was like, the AI got it right. Yay, that's what we were hoping for. That's what we were really hoping for. So it's an easy read, and it's really all about the people side. So if you're like me and you find the people part to be mysterious, this is the book for you.
And I love it. It's a great segue into what my passion project is for mentoring folks. And some of you have mentioned it. Let me make sure that this arrow works. Else it's going to actually go to the link of her. There we go. My passion project is hosting a virtual event, and Dawn and I are collaborating where her book is going to be kind of the spotlight of the event, as well as I have an outdoor field trip of the 3rd day on the 19th in Alexandria, Virginia. And Dawn will be there in person with signed copies of the book. And one of the things that we're doing to get people really, really excited about the event and about her book is if you sign up before the 14th, you will get a link to the ebook where for free, for 30 days for free, where you will be a part of our book challenge. And think of it as almost like a decoder ring, because if you've been a part of Indoor Recess, it's gamified. What I found with my boot camp classes is people wanted to actually apply, like tell me, like create something. And the first year we did that, people loved it. We created a charter, we created a WBS, and we're going back to the basics and doing that this year. And I actually got a business to be a case study. So y'all gonna create some artifacts for an actual business, and I'm super excited about this event. And it has been my love. Went and got trademark. Couldn't believe patent office actually was going to give me Indoor Recess, and they did. So very, very exciting. And for those of you that have been a part of it, this event, feel free to chime in, Mike and others. Mike, open up your mic. And I apologize. There was one person that had her hand up, and I want to definitely make sure that everybody gets acknowledged around that. But this slide deck has been created for you as a PDF, and Jasmine will make sure that everybody today gets a copy of it. And all of these are hyperlinks that you can get to information about Indoor Recess. I'll, of course, pop it in the chat if that's something you're interested in. And then that HBR article that Dawn had mentioned. But I think that's it for today. Y'all are amazing. We really appreciate it. Of course, it's never enough time to have these questions, but I'm going to stop my share and hand it over to the last person who had their hand up. If you still have something to say, otherwise I'll give the mic, pass the baton to Jasmine.
It was Maruka. Do you still want to speak?
Yes. Well, sorry to put you in a spot, but yes, I brought it that out. I don't know if it's something that everybody knows or it's still confidential. But one thing that I learned, I live in a rural area, and when they start cleaning out some area like farm, whatever, I was wondering, oh, what they gonna put there? And so mentioned there, I think they're gonna put some kind of company, industry, or whatever. Well, by the time then the people who lived there found out, then it was I think a gas company, like and this is a rural area where the water is very important and is clean for the animals and the plants. And to have that company build huge vessels and reactors and things like that in that area, it wasn't thing. But by the time that the town find out and start complaining about and do the sign and be outside, they already, had invested millions of dollars, cleaning the grass and putting, and already the spec for the vessels, they were already submitted to the company who is building. That means that even though they complain, anything like that, so far, nothing happened. There is the industry, people in the town continuing every Saturday with their flyers and in the car outside complaining, but they don't gonna do nothing because it's already done. I think it's gonna, and that's the way that I feel with this. When I hear about them, they are considering the each member should belong only to one chapter, and instead of, it would be, for example, for us, then we are more a chapter. Oh well, but would be nice because maybe we will have all those people that they are close by, then will join us, and our chapter will probably grow, but or reverse, or they will go someplace else. Who know, whatever. But I feel like one of the things that we gained from the COVID, it was the ability to prove that things can happen remotely. Then if we are the internet area, that you can have friends for life, even if you never met them. You can build that relationship from another part of the country, whatever. Why instead of PMI to take that and let's move forward. How are we gonna go back, and that's why I brought it out. I say, if more people are aware, if it's something that can be done and we do it together, maybe that rules is gonna be modified for whatever reason. Whoever is thinking the idea, I imagine it has to be some value behind the idea. Otherwise, what's the point? But in case that maybe by we say something about it, they can it's analyze that value and see if actually the value go or like to really if it's gonna help more or it's gonna hurt more or modify if they want to do it, but give us more flexibility or whatever. Because as you say, you are like in 5 different chapter, and I'm sure from each of the chapter everybody gonna invest in what they believe. If you invest your time and your money belong to all those chapters, it's because you believe in the people that they are there, in the mission, in what you give and what you also get. And that's I'm trying to make a revolution here, but I just feel that sometimes we have to speak up. But since we are one small person speaking up, but if we speech, talk, maybe we can do something before they actually implement it, and they're gonna just tell us, thank you, sorry, we hear you, but it's nothing that we can do.
That's what I brought your name?
Miurka.
Mirka, thank you so much. And that's what we have to do as project managers. And that's what we do every day, is speak up for what's right. And, I think that those are our parting words. And I think you have convinced me to follow up, at least to see, hey, who wants to post this? But I really appreciate that, because we have to be advocates not only for ourselves. That's why you find someone to help you with that, and advocates for what we believe in. So speaking of advocates, I'm an advocate of giveaways. So Jasmine is going to do the wheel to make sure we give tickets away. So go ahead. I'll pass the baton to you, Jasmine.
So I have to say, thank you so much. Sorry for being so brief, but I want to get people out in 2 minutes. Let's see. I'm a New Yorker, so we could do this. Okay, so I'm in my Oprah mode right now, because technically only HVC members can win tickets. But because you guys were so engaged, and Raina cursed me out about the the tents in the story, which I love, keep me on my toes. I figured everyone's eligible. So what I did to make it even, I put HVC members' name in, I think 4 times, to give them more of an opportunity. However, everyone can win. So we have 2 tickets, not 1, but 2, to give away for indoor recess. So let's see. And we see Crystal's face in the middle. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, wow. Lena, I would definitely fight Maruka. Congratulations, Maruka. And let's do this again. One more time. One more time. That's funny. It's okay. We're going to do that again. That was funny.
This wheel is rigged.
I swear to you, I didn't do it, but she won. Congratulations to Raina and to Maruka. Raina, please reach out to me to make sure I get your information to give to Crystal. Thank you so much. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint, and I'll get you guys out of here. Okay, so thank you so much, Crystal and Dawn. You guys were phenomenal. So next meetings, we have our October meeting with Schaefer Gadsden. He's actually from the PMI Upstate chapter, and he will be talking about political elections for project managers. Hopefully everyone be running out to the polls this year. I'm not going to tell you how important it is, because we're not going to get into politics, but it's important. Please go out and exercise your right to vote. And we also have a new member orientation coming up Tuesday, October 22nd from 6:30 to 7:30. Again, just to give you an orientation of what we do and how we get down at the Hudson Valley chapter. Thank you for attending tonight's meeting. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you actually chose to be here. If you are a PMI member and you registered with your PMI ID, we will automatically submit your PDU. However, if you did not do that, reach out to me and I'll make sure that I claim the PDU for you. Thank you so much. I am Jasmine T. Clark, the VP of Professional Development. That is my email address. You will get a copy of this presentation as well as Crystal's slides in a couple of days, probably like by tomorrow. So thank you so much for attending. I really do appreciate you tonight, and you have a very good evening. Happy Thursday.
Thank
Thank
you.
so
Have
much,
a good
Jasmine.
night.
This was great.
Thank you. Good night,
y'all.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Connect with us. Do you need